Boom, 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 bum, 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 bum. Good to see you again. I know every time I make a video I do shit like this where I have like a half-assed intro and where the hell have I been? But I'm gonna skip all that nonsense because a lot of stuff's happened in 2020, which I'm sure you're all aware of, and you don't need some big ugly dork like me reminding you of all the nonsense that we've all been through. I got something I need to talk about, something I'm a little frustrated with, if I'm totally honest. Spidey, we all know him. We all know Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Great power comes a lot of responsibility, or something like that. People seem to have forgotten that Spidey didn't start with the Sam Raimi films, or the MCU films, or the Andrew Garfield films that everyone seems to want to forget about. He started way back in the day, but if you're an old goofball like me, then you might remember him from the Spider-Man animated TV show. I know most of you probably remember it. I mean, how could you forget? It was one of the best Spider-Man TV shows, if not the best Spider-Man cartoon ever. I mean, Christopher Daniel Barnes, the guy who voiced Spider-Man, was the voice of Spider-Man for years. In the video game, in the other video game. He voiced a lot of Spider-Man in that one episode where there was a lot of Spider-Man. And that show was pretty iconic. I mean, at the time, we even got little McDonald's action figures like this one. In fact, I hold this one up, but if you can see right here above next to my stupid head, I got one in a little shadow box. That's one I got from McDonald's in like 95, I think, when they came out. And I've had it since. We'll take a better look at it in a sec, but I had that one for 25 years. Got it when I was 2. And I didn't lose it or break it. A lot of paint's worn off, but I was able to hold on to it for so long. Sorry, that I decided to immortalize him in a shadow box that's plain as all hell with a glare on it due to my shitty lighting situation. Sorry about that. Look at him. He's beautiful, is he not? Those spider titties where I rubbed the paint off. I love you. But I'm a little bit salty, man. I feel like Hasbro and, people nowadays have kind of forgotten about it. I mean, sure, it's not really what Spidey looks like nowadays. Back in the day, he was a buff-ass motherfucker on that TV show, and now he's a skinny little guy. I get it. He's a high schooler nowadays. Everyone wants to portray him as a high schooler. I personally like him more as an adult. But dude, in the cartoon, he was a buff-ass motherfucker. And I don't think Hasbro, or anyone really, is going to release a 90s-inspired action figure. I mean, why would they? No one cares anymore, right? Never mind. But I still don't really think that one is totally accurate to the cartoon. Who knows if it really is supposed to even be based on the cartoon. I mean, the packaging and stuff, one would think. But he's a little skinny. I mean, granted, that's how a lot of people like Spidey nowadays, and I'm totally fine with it. But goddamn it, I want a Spidey that looks like he did in the cartoon on a buff-ass buck, maybe even the Spider UK one. And if we don't get it from Hasbro or any other licensed company, then we might have to make one ourselves. Where the fuck is my paint? So in the true spirit of DIY and instant gratification, because I don't want to wait on Hasbro or anyone else, let's go ahead and work on one ourselves. We got the Spidey UK, all our paints, and a little inspiration. And a paintbrush. Let's see what we can come up with, guys. We did it. Do you hear that rattling? It's almost like I fucked it up when I was making it. I think this one turned out pretty good. That's vibrant. Red and blue. Webs are a little shitty, but let's take a closer look at that. Wow, that's slow. Shit. Check out his majesty. Look at him in all his overly glossed glory. He looks probably about what you would expect a custom Spider-Man to look by a guy who really doesn't have that much experience. Alright. Enough forced goofiness for a while. Let's actually talk about this guy and what I did and how I made him. So as you can see here, this Spidey, I tried my best for a 90s animated series look. Let me this down a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. I tried my best to go for like a 90s animated Spidey look, and I think it turned out pretty well. I like the back logo. Looks pretty good. And the head. People shit on the Spider UK head. I get it. You know, it's not fit for every buck. It's not fit for every body. Like on the PS4 Marvel Legends Spidey, it doesn't really work, but if it's used properly, it looks great. Like the Spider UK. Where the fuck did I put? Here he is. Let's get him standing next to his British counterpart here, Billyson. What's his last name? Braddock. That's right. So I did use a regular Spider UK. This is the one that I have just for dicking off purposes, but I prepped the figure, stripped him of all the paint, sanded the joints and stuff. You can see I got a little blemish there as far as the hinges. I didn't know how to really prep ankle and hand hinges when I started this, so maybe I'll touch that back up, but I really wanted to pay homage to this little guy, this little body in particular, once again, the McDonald's toy, because I carried that thing with me everywhere, and I still love it to this day. It's got 4 points of articulation, and the colors don't match, whatever, but I think it looks good. For my second or third, for one of my customs, I think it turned out really well. Don't yell at me too much. You may be asking yourself, Chance, why in the H is he so freaking glossy? There's a reason for that. And the reason I gloss this dude out so much is because I remember specifically as a kid, this body being super duper glossy, at least to me. And, shit. And the reason he's so glossy is because as a kid, I remember carrying this guy around all the time and thinking that he was shiny, and that's just how action figures were. And he's got a little bit of sheen to him. The one that I carried around as a kid got ridiculously glossy because of paint rub and the oils on my grubby little fingers. And just for a little comparison, this might be another reason as to why I thought action figures were supposed to be glossy. Here is the actual Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Spidey that just, I can't move this ankle. You're embarrassing me in front of my YouTube friend, Spidey. Got kind of a matte finish, right? Here's the one that I carry around with me all the time and play with. You can see that, yeah, it's a little more glossy just because I rubbed like the coating off and the paint and stuff. So I think a combination of this one being just naturally glossy, this one being used so much and fucked around with, and a combination of me being a messy little kid getting grease and food all over my action figures, I just defaulted to having a glossy ass Spider-Man. And you know what? I think it works. I do like it. It reminds me of when I was a child in a happier time. Oh my fucking god. That's not good. But yeah. And if you don't know how Marvel Legends articulate, let me go ahead and learn you a thing or two. You can still look up and down, left and right. If I can get my fingers out of the shot while I'm doing that, it might work a little better. Arms do that. They move up. This one kind of, I've noticed at least at every Spider UK that I've ever had, the left arm is kind of a bitch. Right arm's fine though. Double jointed whatever, wrist whatever, bicep this, crunchy ab with the shake, the rattle, maraca, hip thing, up, back, bend. It's an action figure. You guys know. I guess what I'm getting at is that I prepped it to the point where there should be minimal to no paint rub. God, why? So again, for a little bit of comparison, let's run over exactly my thought process as far as making this custom. Get out of here. We used the Spider UK body, inspired by this little guy. And, well, he didn't really fall into the equation at all. I just kind of want him standing there right now. But this inspired this guy on this body to make this one. Does that make sense? I don't know. Honestly, I think I said in my Phantom video, if you take the action figure in as a whole, it doesn't look too bad. This one, I kind of feel the same about. There's really nothing about it that I dislike other than the fact that up close, the webs are a little sloppy. There's some paint chip here that I could touch up in the hinge at the hands. Like I said, I didn't really know how to do that. And to be honest, I still kind of have trouble with it, but I do really like it. I think he turned out great. I do have some open hands somewhere that I don't feel like looking for right now. But he's just going to stand on my shelf like this anyways, looking like Spider-Man does. Quick side note too, I think this is actually interesting, and maybe you guys will also find it interesting, is that when I was working on it, he's going to stand here because I'm going to put up pictures. When I was working on him, before I did the webs, it really reminded me of the Spider-Man from the PS1 games that I grew up with, that I also really love. So, I don't know. I guess if I get like bored in the future and I have an extra UK body, maybe I'll just be an asshole and make like a PS1 Spider-Man that's all polygonal with no webs at all. Because it did look pretty cool. I can't lie. But until then, here's my classic anime. I just realized my fucking phone wasn't focused on him the whole time and it was blurry. Here's my Spider-Man, guys. Do you like him? I do. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that custom. It was really fun to make, and it was, I think, the second, maybe third Marvel Legends custom I ever did. It was earlier in this year, so he's been done for a while. If you follow my Instagram, you may have seen him already. And if you don't follow my Instagram, please follow my Instagram. Because, as you can tell, I'm pretty shitty about uploading on YouTube here. And if you're curious as to what I'm doing or what I'm working on, that's a great place to keep in touch. Yeah, he's been done for a while. I haven't showed him off yet, at least in video form. I have a whole shelf that you can't see right now of customs that I would like to catch up on and make videos and show you guys. Because as amateurish as they are, I'm pretty proud of them. They're fun to do. So, stay in tune for those, I suppose. And before you go, I'm not going to hit you with any of that subscriber, like, or comment bullshit. I just want to say, have a good day, guys. I'm glad you joined me on this little adventure, this ad-libbed adventure. I didn't script any of this, in case you haven't noticed. That's why it's probably so terrible. But, I don't know. Hopefully the video has a little more authenticity because of that. So, you guys have a good day. I'll see you in 2021. God damn it. Let's keep our fingers crossed that the following year is nicer to us than 2020. God, please. So, have a good one, guys.